All right. So Unit 2 review for your final. Unit 2 is all about linear equations and a few things that we know. Slope that we represent with M is the rate of change between any 2 points on a line. Slope measures the steepness of the line. We can find slope a couple of different ways. One way is if we're given 2 points, x1, y1, and x2, y2. The slope is the difference in the y values divided by the difference in the x values. And if you're calculating this on a calculator, you would want those in parentheses. If we have a graph, you could do the same thing with a graph. Find 2 points, difference in the y values divided by difference in the x values. Or you could find 2 points and just count how much you go up, the rise, and then how much you go over, the run. Rise divided by run is another way to find slope. Once we know slope and we know some other things, we can calculate or we can write an equation. So, and then we can use slope when we graph. So if we're in slope-intercept form, to graph, we're going to graph the y-intercept first. It's going to go on the y-axis. And then we're going to use our slope to get more points. So from that y-intercept, we're going to go either up or down and to the right. And then connect your points with a straight line. If we're in standard form and we want to graph, so ax plus by equals c, where a, b, and c are integers, and a has to be positive. Couple ways we can do that. We could use the cover-up method, where we find the x-intercept and find the y-intercept and connect that point, those points. We could also rewrite our equation to get it in slope-intercept form and then use the slope-intercept form method for graphing. The third form for a linear equation is point-slope form. So y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, where x1 and y1 are a point, m is your slope, and you can plug those values into your equation. If we have to subtract a negative, we can change subtracting a negative to adding a positive. So find the slope. Again, we're going to do the double starred problems. The other ones are left for you on homework. So if this, if I'm given these 2 points, I'm going to label x1, y1, x2, y2. So my slope, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, would be 3 minus negative 5 over negative 2 minus 4. Minus a negative, as we just said on the previous page, that's the same as plus a positive. That's 8. Negative 2 minus 4 is negative 6. And then we should see if we can reduce. In this case, both numbers are divisible by 2. We would get 4 over negative 3. And you don't have to write the negative in the denominator. You could write it out front. That would be fine as well. For number 9, find the slope of the line and then write the equation. So we want to find 2 points. And for this line for 9a, I think there's 1 point right there. And there's 1 point right there. 1, 2, 3. I'm going down 3. 1, 2, 3, 4 over 4. My equation in slope-intercept form, y equals -3/4 x, and my intercept is -3, so -3. There. Clean this up just a little bit. That's a lot better. There we go. All right, graph the line for number 10. Again, we're in slope-intercept form, so I'm going to start with the y-intercept, -7. Slope is 3, so that means up 3 over 1. Up 3 over 1. Up 3 over 1. And I can do that many times as I want. I could also go down 3, left 1, if I wanted. And draw the line. Go. Number 11. Write the line, equation of line in point slope form. So we have our point. Whoops. X1, Y1, but we need to figure out the slope. And it looks like this one crosses right here. So the slope up 2 over 3. Our point slope form, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So y minus -2 is equal to 2/3 x minus 1. Again, relooking at this, minus a negative is the same as plus a positive. So we can rewrite this as y plus 2 equals 2/3 x minus 1. All right, convert each equation from point slope to slope intercept form. In other words, we want to get it into the y equals mx plus b form. We're going to use similar, similar steps that we use to solve an equation. We're going to get rid of the parentheses by using the distributive property. We're going to multiply everything inside the parentheses by 1/3. So we get 1/3 times x minus 1/3 times 6. Well, that would be 1 times 6, which is 6, divided by 3. And 6 divided by 3 is 2. Last thing we want to do, get the m by itself. So we subtract 5 from both sides of the equation. Y equals 1/3 x minus 7. We could also go from slope intercept to standard form. So again, a has to be positive. We want to clear the fractions by multiplying by the denominator. So I'm going to rewrite this equation real quick. Y equals 3/5 x minus 6. And the first thing I'm going to do is multiply both sides by 5. So 5 times y is 5y. On the right-hand side, we distribute. So we get 5 times 3 divided by 5. Well, the multiplying by 5 and dividing by 5 cancel each other out. So we have 3x. And then minus 5 times 6, which is 30. Move the x's to the other side of the equation. So to do that, I subtract 3x. I have negative 3x or minus 3x plus 5y equals negative 30. I want my coefficient on my x to be positive, so I'm going to multiply everything by negative 1. And if I do that on the left, I do the same thing on the right. So this will become 3x minus 5y equals positive 30. And there is my equation in standard form. Last bit, we want to graph this line. And so what I'm going to do is graph with the cover-up method, and then I will also rearrange it and show that you could graph it with the slope-intercept form. So with the cover-up method, I cover up my y to find my x-intercept. I cover up the 2y, I get 5x equals 10. Divide by 5. X equals 2. Find my y-intercept. Cover up the x part, 5x. I'm left with negative 2y equals 10. Divide by negative 2. Y equals negative 5. And draw my line. If you prefer, you could write this in slope-intercept form. So I'm going to show you that real quick. Actually, what I'm going to do is I am going to copy this page. And now I can erase this. So get this in the y-intercept form or slope-intercept form. You're always going to have 2 steps if it's in standard form. The first step, subtract the x. So I subtract 5x. I'm left with negative 2y. And this negative 5x plus 10. I can't combine the 5x and the 10 because they don't both have x's. The second step will always be divide by whatever x is being multiplied by. So I divide by negative 2. Here, negative 5x divided by negative 2, a negative divided by a negative is a positive. That's 5 divided by 2x. And then we have 10 divided by negative 2, which is negative 5. So our y-intercept is negative 5. Slope is 5 halves, up 5 over 2, up 5 over 2, up 5 over 2. Or I could go down 5 left 2. and draw my line. All right, that's chapter 2. The rest of the hour you have to work on the problems we didn't do in the notes, and those will be checked tomorrow.